Hi everyone, Corey here from the Knitting All the Blankets podcast. And in this podcast, this is take 2 because I hit the wrong button and messed up. So we're starting from scratch. In this video, I'm going to show you some new minis that I got, as well as part of my Christmas present from my husband. And we're going to talk about my 2018 knitting goals. And of course, how could this be one of my episodes if I didn't tell you about Eric's blanket? All right, let's get started. Oh, if you're curious, my shirt says I can't adult today. Because it's true. Some days you just can't adult. I don't even want a child. Some days I just want to be the cat. I don't have a cat. I'm allergic to cats, but I want to be a cat that just lays around. All right, I move all this stuff back over here. Sorry about the crinkling, but you know I work right to left when it comes to showing you guys stuff. Okay, so if anybody else follows Brew City Yarns on Facebook, you know that they have gone wholesale. They're being featured in like a half dozen different stores around the country. And which is wonderful. I'm so happy for them. You know, yay small business. And that they're selling off their current stock at wholesale prices. Well, I bought a couple mini skein sets. The first one I bought was the most sensational mini skein set, which of course is the Muppets. I love the Muppets. Okay, and I went through and wrote down the colorway names just because when I'm with my mini skein 10 stitch and when I do my cotton scrap GAN, to me, and I have done this because I've been working on the cotton scrap GAN in its various iterations. I think I've frogged it and started it twice, and I'm gonna frog it again and do a different pattern. I like writing down what the colorways are because, like, especially like for the cotton one, there's yarn that my brother got me, and I write that in there. It's like, oh, sugar and cream, shades of green. Eric gave me this for Christmas. Christmas 2005 or 2006, something like that. So it's a nice memory for me. Anyways, so I believe this is Statler and Waldorf, Animal, Gonzo, Fozzie, Bunsen and Beaker, which I was thrilled to see. I love Bunsen and Beaker, Miss Piggy, and Kermit the Frog. So that's that set. Then I got the Villains mini skein set. And they are Cruella. Let me take this off since it's so big. Mute button. Okay. It goes Cruella de Vil, Hades, Cheshire Cat, Hook, and Ursula. And I'm looking at the Hades one, and am I the only one that kind of feels like Hades wasn't the biggest villain? I mean, they could have put... I know Jafar is in the Arabian Nights one, is in the Aladdin one, but... And Hook's in this one, and Hook should have just been in the Neverland one. Anyways, I digress. But did anybody else, while watching the animated Disney Hercules, love the joke when the little demon minions were disguised as kids and they were trapped under rocks, and they said, "Someone call IXII," you know, IXII 911. I loved it. I think that's one of the most underrated jokes of all times. Okay. Villains minis. Next one is the Sherlock minis. And that's Sherlock, Moriarty, Mind Palace, The Woman, and Watson. At least according to the website. And I'm pretty sure I got it right. So the Sherlock minis, I mean, I like the TV show, I do. If they did another set, you know, there's going to be Mycroft, Mrs. Hudson, Lestrade, Molly Hooper. Yeah, Tara at Brew City Yarns. We need another Sherlock set. We do. Redbeard. I'm not going to go there. The Redbeard reveal. Not going there. Not going there. Okay. And the last mini skein set I bought was the Scooby-Doo ones. I love Scooby-Doo. So, Scooby-Doo, Velma, Fred. You can't see the middle one very well, so hang on. Let's start over. Scooby-Doo, Velma, Fred, Mystery Machine, Daphne, and Shaggy. So when I was looking on the website, getting the colorway names, I figured out Mystery Machine, but it wasn't there. So I messaged Tara. I said, hey, you know, I got my order, thank you. And I'm in no way complaining about having a random extra mini. Oh my God. Okay, seriously. That's the second time in a half an hour my doorbell has rung while I've been trying to do this podcast. But luckily I hit unpause instead of stop this time, so I don't have to start over. And I went and unplugged the doorbell. Because come hell or high water, I'm finishing this podcast today. And if they start knocking, they can just keep knocking. I'm not going to answer. It's comical. From my perspective, it's comical. All right. So we were talking about Scooby-Doo minis and how I got an extra Mystery Machine mini. I figured out what it was, but Tara told me that, oh, that's one of the old packs that has 6 minis in it. Score! So I'm not complaining about 6 minis. The only mini skein set she didn't have on wholesale, and probably because they're out of them, was the Neverland one. Because I love Neverland. I love Peter Pan. It's one of my favorite books. So, couldn't get that one. Oh well. It's sad, but whatever. Life goes on. Okay. The next sets of minis I'm going to show you. I'm still laughing about that door. My wonderful husband bought me 2 sets of the Twin Mommy Creations Swap with Swap that Lisa from Happy Scrappy Life put on. If you participate in any of her Swap with Swaps, if you're in her podcast and any of the other podcasting groups, you're aware that she does these Swap with Swaps. I personally love them. So these are my 2 bags of minis from the Twin Mommy Creations Swap with Swap. And if you recall, Twin Mommy Creations is run by Anne. Anne is one of my very good friends. I buy her stuff all the time. That is Anne's card. I hope that's in focus. You can find her on Etsy, on Ravelry, and on Facebook. So, and the reason why I got these from Lisa instead of Anne is because Anne is only just now starting to do minis, and I've got a lot more of her colorways now. So, yay. What I did notice, because if you've ever participated in any of Lisa's Swap with Swap, she gives you the colorway names on the label. And I'm reading on here, and a couple of the Careful I Bite minis are on here. Yeah, there are like 3 or 4 of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them aside. And when I reach 100 subscribers, 100 subscribers for my knitting podcast, and you also have to be a member of the Ravelry group. No thread will be opened up until 100 subscribers is reached. I will do a giveaway. How's that sound? I'm only at like 20 subscribers right now, so it's gonna be a while. Unless my subscriber count like goes through the roof. But I will always have a link to the Ravelry group in the description below. And once the thread opens up, once it gets to that point, I'll mention it again and I'll open everything up and all that. So, okay. All right. So keep that in the back of your head, that possible giveaway coming up in the future. So, I've got a lot of minis. I mean, that's a lot of minis. And I should really like drag my box o' minis out with all the packages. But I don't have time to work on that blanket, on my mini skein blanket, because dun dun dun, it's time for an Eric's blanket update. What podcast would I be if I did not talk about this blanket? I love my brother. I really do. Anyways, I've actually made great progress. I didn't drag the squares out here because I didn't feel like it. I finished all the orange. So I have 3 completed colors when it comes to the little squares. The red's done, the blue's done, and the orange is done. The 3 remaining colors are black, green, and white. I needed 34 black. I've done 22, so I've got 12 left. I need 35 green, and 40 white. Haven't started those yet. So, and this is just as I reach over. I've just got the ball. I'm not picking it up because I have been pulling from the center, so this is like all collapsed in here. Isn't my basket awesome? I've just been sticking the big skein of red heart down in the basket at an angle, and I'm center pulling, and so far it's been working. I got 12 left to go. Today is December 30th. I'm hoping by Monday night, Saturday, December 30th, I'm hoping by Monday night, New Year's Day evening, I will have all the black done. Fingers crossed. And that will leave me January to get the green and the white done. So that then I can have February and March to put the whole thing together. And I promise you, actually no, you're going to keep hearing about this thing until it's done. You really are, because it's my podcast and I'm going to tell you about it. And I just flicked my hair in front of my face. Okay, but Eric's blanket is not the only thing I'm going to be working on in the new year. Monday is January 1st, which means my dishcloth goal resets for craft show season. And for those of you that are longtime watchers, I have, of my goal that from January 1st to October 1st, it is my goal to knit 100 dishcloths. And I met and exceeded that goal this past year, despite not participating in any craft shows. But I did. I got all my dishcloths knitted, and I've got a knot in one of my cones right. I'll fix that later. Anyways, so if you remember, this is Bernat Orange Sickle cotton, On the lovely cone holder that my wonderful husband made me, I've got scissors and knitting needles rolling around in here. I've talked about this thing on the podcast before, so if you just go back and look at the titles, I think that's how I told you guys. Anyways, so October's cotton color was supposed to be orange sickle. But I just decided starting in October is when I really started focusing on Eric's blanket and trying to get as much of it done as possible. So I actually haven't knit any cotton dishcloths since September, which is fine because A, we took a break from craft show season this year. B, I had met my goal, so no biggie. So January's color is going to be orange. I have picked out the next 3 colors of cotton for the subsequent months, February, March, and April. They are not coned up yet. They're still in skein form. So for February, looking at my notes, I'm going to be working on Bernat Grape Squirt. And yes, I have had this since August 8th, 2015. I actually have like 5 of these that I bought them all at the same time because they were on clearance at Joann's because they were $5.97 instead of $10.99. You stock up when they're on clearance, people. And I'll cone this up. When I cone up cotton, it takes about 1 full cone. You can see that's the very edge of the caking cone. 1 and a bit cones. So got purple for February. March, this is a colorway I've done Grape Squirt before. This is not a new colorway to me. Orange Sickle is. For March, I'm doing Bernat Lollipop. I've had this one since December 2016, and I paid $6 for it. When Anne was doing a de-stash of her personal yarn collection, she always gives me first go at cotton, and this is one of the ones I bought from her. This is also not a new colorway, if I didn't say that earlier. I've done Lollipop in the past, and it is a twist, as you can see. And for April, this mess, I don't have a date on this one, but it is Bernat Lemon Drop. I paid for it with a gift card that I had. And there is dust on it and lint. But I can tell you, this thing dates back to my apartment, which is 2013. I can tell you that. We moved into our apartment December 28th, 2012. It's December 30th, 2017. 4 years later, I still have not knit this hot mess up. I know there are some people watching this. I'll go, oh, that's nothing. I still have yarn from when my kids were young, and your kids are grown and you have grandchildren now. But yeah, that one's kind of ridiculous. So I think if you actually go to the Crafts by Cori Facebook page, my cover photo is how my yarn setup used to be in our apartment. And I think that's in that photo. I seriously think it's in that photo. Yeah. But yeah. So that's what's going on with me right now. Oh, because I had to restart this from scratch, I completely forgot. There is a Ravelry. I mentioned the giveaway. And I think I said you're going to not only be a subscriber to me, but also be a member of the podcast group. Yes, there is a group on Ravelry. It's called the Knitting All the Blankets podcast group, or Knitting All the Blankets group. There will be a link to it in the description below. On Ravelry, my handle is not knitting all the blankets. It's craftsbycori, all one word. And yeah, I'm just gonna wrap this up. I'm still a little frazzled from the doorbells. We never have people ring our doorbell. Never. All of a sudden, I sit down to do a knitting podcast and everybody's at my door. Okay, so 20 minutes later, no, actually longer. It's been like, because I've restarted this, it's been like 30 minutes of talking. All right, so thank you for watching. If you were a new subscriber, I promise, or not a new subscriber, but a new viewer, I promise it's not always like this. I'm not usually this frazzled. It was just a weird day. And if you're one of my lovely subscribers and a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. And I will see you guys in a few weeks with most likely another update on Eric's blanket. We'll see if I get anything else done in that time, right? Bye, everybody.